Hello students, this video is just to show you how to create a document in MLA format. This video will explain to you step by step how to provide your header in the top left corner, your header in the top right corner, where to put your title, and how to indent your paragraphs and double space your essay. So first and foremost, we are going to write our name. I'm just going to use some generic information here. Then you are going to follow it up with your professor's name. Then you are going to follow it up with the course name. Then you are going to follow it up with the date or the due date of the assignment, which is what most people expect. Next, you are going to center and add the title of your essay. Just for simplicity's sake, let's call it essay number 1. Then you are going to press enter, go back to this side of the paper. This is what we call left justification. If you see this symbol right here, this is the symbol you should be using. This is the left justification of text. Indent, and you can begin writing your essay, period. Next thing you want to do is highlight everything, go up to this section right here. All computers obviously look different, but they generally have some type of arrow going up and arrow going down. You're going to select 2.0. That is what we call double spacing. As you can see, it is double spaced from top to bottom. If you double click on the top right here, you will open up the header/footer. At the bottom is called the footer, at the top is called the header. You're going to tab all the way to the end over here, and you are going to type your last name. Oops, I guess we tapped a little too much. And then you are going to insert page number. And you are going to select top of the page header, right side, and press OK, and you will have a 1 right here. This will automatically change the rest of your paper. So if we go all the way down to the next page, as you can see here, it will automatically add the top header with the page number. So let's say you have written your first paragraph, you have a few sentences, and you end with your thesis statement. The next thing you are going to do is just press enter and tab again. You always want to indent the first line of a new paragraph, and you will continue to do this for the remainder of the essay. So let's continue on with what we were talking about in the previous document. Here I've taken an essay that actually has a first body paragraph, which is called the introduction. I've highlighted the thesis here and made it in bold just for, to bring attention to it here. At the top, we still have our first name, last name, professor and last name, name of the course, and then the date, starting with the day, the month spelled out, and then the year. And then you have essay number 1 here in the title. And then we have our top right header with our last name and page number. This is just a sample essay from a student last semester. So they began with their background and context information. They introduced the title of their article and then the author of that article. And then they continued on into their thesis, which talks about ethos, logos, and kairos. And they mention in her argumentative article, and they explained to us what the purpose of that article was, which was to persuade future students to choose a college education even when it does not seem like the right time to do so. So as we can see here, we have body paragraph number 1, which offers more details to the analysis, body paragraph number 2, which again offers more details to the analysis, body paragraph number 3, body paragraph number 4, and so on until we reach the conclusion. Notice that each paragraph is in fact indented, right? You always want to indent the first line of each individual paragraph. Your conclusion will offer insight and closure, etc. to your reader. Now moving on to something that's extremely important, which is your works cited page. What I did was I made a generic citation here, and this citation is not necessarily what yours is going to look like. So because this student did use an article in their essay, I have chosen to add that here in the works cited page. So what I did was I copy and pasted this and I separated it into individual sections. I stopped at locations for one main reason, in that this article did not have a second container section. Since this source was located in a single textbook, I'm just going to delete this so that we don't even have to deal with it. Let's focus on the information that we do have. Here, the student did have the author's name, so I put it here. They did have the title, so I put it here. They did have the container, which is the name of the textbook. I put it here. They did have the editor's name, so I added it here. They had the third edition, but there was no number, which means that I put NA, meaning not applicable. They did have the publisher, they did have the publication date, and they also had the page numbers. What we're going to do is create the citation using the information available to us. Not every citation is going to look the same for many reasons, as mentioned previously. Sometimes you are going to be using a photograph or a social media entry or a poem or a song. So just for the sake of simplicity, I decided to use this student's work because it was an article from a textbook. So what we do is we are going to copy and paste each individual part, and we're going to create a citation out of it. So let's copy the last name plus the first name. As we see here, it ends in a period, so we are also going to end ours in a period. So let's delete this because now we've used it. Let's take the name of the article. We're going to copy it and paste it here. Because it ends in a period up here, we are going to end it in a period here. Let's delete that since we know we used it. We're going to take the name of the book. See how it ends in a comma here and it ends in a comma here. We are going to keep that comma in our citation and move on to the next portion. Delete container and move on to other contributors. We're going to add edited by Thomas Cooley here. Don't worry that it did that. We will adjust that in a second. And then we're going to delete that as well. Let's add third edition since that information is available to us. As we see here, it is followed up by a comma, so we're going to keep that comma here. Let's delete that. We don't have a number, so let's delete that. We do have the publisher, so let's take the publisher, copy and paste it, and add it to our citation. As we see here, it is separated by a comma, so we have a comma here. We do have the publication date, so we're going to follow that up with the publication date and its comma. Let's delete these since we've already used them. And lastly, we are going to add in our page numbers. And it ends in a period. Now we can delete this information, we can delete our very generic version, and now we can first double space this. Then we are going to press enter right here. I know a lot of computers have different ways to do this, but what I've learned is that this is a trick that can be used on almost any type of document. You can press enter here, and then you can press tab, and you will have your double space citation. Remember that only the leftmost word is going to be justified to the left. Remember, left justification is this little button up here. So if we were to have multiple sources in one works cited page, it would look something like this. Only this is justified to the left. Every line after the first line is going to be indented. Now, if you had multiple authors with varying last names, then it would go alphabetically by the last name or the first word of the citation, considering some citations do not have last names for authors. And we are done. So this is what a works cited and an MLA document should look like. This is the 8th edition, which is in all of the textbooks that I use across my classes. So I hope this helped. If you guys have any further questions, remember you can always email me.